Oh, hey, I didn't see you guys there. Well, anyway, I was watching that hearing with Gary Gensler where he's testifying before Congress, and man, I didn't really get much out of it, except for the Democrats really don't like cryptocurrency, and they think that basically Gary Gensler's doing a great job, while the Republicans are getting really tired of his antics. With the election coming up next year, it's going to be pretty interesting to see how crypto plays into the politics and how people take sides based off whether their party is actually going to be promoting the acceptance and adoption of the technology or if they're going to be suppressing their bags. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. You can see how diametrically opposed the two parties are on their views in cryptocurrency based just off of the opening statements.
Welcome back, Chairman Gensler. Last time you were before the committee, I voiced my concerns regarding your reckless approach to rulemaking, lack of capital formation agenda, crusade against the digital asset ecosystem, and unresponsiveness to Congress. So many things change, so many things remain the same. Those are the same issues on the docket today. This means that in the last 5 months, you've done nothing to remedy the legitimate and often bipartisan concern expressed by this committee and these committee members. That is disgraceful. So let's run through them again. Let me be clear, Chairman Gensler, our patience is wearing thin.
It seems like they're really just fed up with Gary's antics because he's not really doing anything until he tries to regulate by enforcement upon anybody who tries to cause innovation within the crypto space or the financial space in general. Gary is stunting growth of the American economy, and he's just a liability and he's bad for business. He's pushing innovation overseas, and that's giving a lot of power to our enemies in a time whenever global tensions are actually on the rise. So in my opinion, I would say that Gary Gensler is actually a threat to national security in a way. But hopefully his days are numbered and they'll actually get a new chairman of the SEC before too long. I'm not going to go over all of the chairman, Mr. McHenry's opening statements because they are long and they're not all about cryptocurrency. But just from his first few words, really, you could tell that he's fed up and he's not happy with Gary. And they want to see some actual action or else they're going to be looking at trying to replace him. What I found to be more interesting, though, was Maxine Waters' opening statements because she's a raving lunatic. And while between her and Elizabeth Warren, they both make me want to have a stroke, it is kind of good to see these Democrats crying like this. Just check out this attitude.
The chairman just indicated that his patience is running thin. Mine is thinner with the opposite side of the aisle. And
look at the way she shakes that neck and crinkles her nose. She looks like an old bat with rabies.
And who are gleefully forcing the government of the greatest country in the world to shut down and forcing millions of government workers, including U.S. service members protecting the economy, to work for free or not at all. Likewise, in 3 days, the Securities and Exchange Commission, which is in charge of overseeing our $110 trillion capital markets, will also be shuttered. This extreme MAGA shutdown would cripple the SEC's ability to stop fraud, help businesses raise money, or finalize rules that are critical to investors. But you won't hear the Republicans today express any concern about the SEC or the countless businesses, workers, or investors that may be harmed when Republicans unilaterally defund Wall Street's cop. Chair Gensler.
Actually, without the SEC, and if they do defund them, it'll probably be good for innovation because it'll bring it back here to American soil. The thing these Democrats are actually scared about is that they're going to be losing some power whenever cryptocurrency makes it possible for the average investor or just your average layman to escape the system that they're trying to oppress us all with. These people run around talking about how they're oppressed and all of this crazy nonsense. Meanwhile, they're trying to take away all of our freedoms and stick their nose into every little thing that we're doing. So in my opinion, this government shutdown might even be a good idea because these idiots won't be able to make any kind of regulatory enforcement, and maybe they can just butt out of our lives for a few days. Anyway, I'm done listening to this hearing. And positive news about the government shutdown, it does apparently make it likely that the Fed is finished doing their hikes. They did leave the door open for a possible one more rate hike by the end of the year. And of course they did that just to make sure that the markets wouldn't run out of control on the good news that they're actually done with the rate hikes. But if the government does shut down, then that means that it's possible that they won't even be able to meet in the next meeting when it's supposed to be. And that means they're not going to be able to raise rates anyway. So we could be done with the rate hikes at least for the rest of the year. It looks like these clowns just have 4 more days to figure out how to fund the government and how to print a bunch of more money. And they're probably not going to get it done because they can never agree on jack shit. But whenever they do finally figure it out and fund the government again, where do you think all this money is going to come from? Well, it sure isn't taxes, since they've been destroying the economy. It's got to be that they're going to just print a bunch more money and add a bunch of treasuries to the Fed's balance sheet. Just like I've been saying is going to happen, eventually the treasury market is going to be too saturated and they're going to print too much money, and the Fed's going to have no other option but to add to their balance sheet, and they can keep rates as high as they want for as long as they want. But as long as they're adding money back to their balance sheet, that's adding liquidity to the system, and they can try to do all the yield curve control they want, but people aren't going to be fooled, and all that money is going to flow into assets, sending Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto market probably to the moon, especially if this Bitcoin spot ETF gets approved. So better days are coming for Bitcoin, but these clowns are doing everything they can to make sure that the best days are over for the whole nation. But at least there's pudgy penguins at Walmart. All joking aside, though, this is pretty good news because it's going to just kind of spread the awareness of NFTs and the brands. And if they're actually selling toys that are connected to NFTs, then this does bring some actual use case and some real viability to an NFT project. So maybe pudgy penguins are more interesting than I thought they were in the past. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Are your penguins pudgy? In other news about how much Gary Gensler sucks, according to this article by CoinDesk, U.S. House lawmakers have pushed the SEC's Gary Gensler to approve the spot ETF immediately. It looks like they really are tired of his antics, and they're tired of him messing with their money too, I'm guessing, because basically the whole world is waiting on them to just approve one of these damn spot ETFs, and we all know it's going to be BlackRock. So what the hell are they waiting for? We all know how this thing is going to end, but for some reason all Gary can do is shake and tremble, and he can never make a decision, and it looks like our lawmakers are finally trying to push him to actually make a decision. So hopefully it'll actually be happening by the end of the year. But if not, I would love to see some actual action trying to push Gary Gensler out of his seat as the chairman of the SEC. He's obviously incompetent and he does not belong there. It looks like Gary Gensler's not listening, though, to the lawmakers, because right after they asked him to immediately push through one of these spot ETFs, he goes out and delays the decision on the ARK Bitcoin ETF, pushing it out all the way till next year. Maybe he's just anticipating that the government's going to shut down in 4 days, so he's delaying this thing so that he can get it out of the way, and then whenever in probably 10 days or a week after the first, whenever they shut down, they'll be coming back just in time for the deadlines on the BlackRock ETF, and then they'll be there just in time to approve it. The only thing that is standing in the way right now is the ARK ETF, because its deadline was coming before BlackRock. And you know they're not going to let Cathie Wood beat Larry Fink. Here's Gary Gensler trembling at the mere thought of the government shutdown and him not having power for just a couple of days.
Is there anything significant about a government shutdown that financial markets should be worried about?
I would say, first, the market regulators, Securities and Exchange Commission. I'll leave Chair Benham to speak about the other great market regulator, the CFTC, but we're appropriated agencies. And so the public should understand we will largely be a skeletal staff.
Speaking of skeletal, this man looks like a skeleton. He should probably get out and have some sun, because I swear his skin is basically translucent at this point. He's acting like a vampire, except for the vampires are supposed to be immortal, and he's acting like he's dying. I don't know what kind of mythical creature he is, maybe a reptilian, but man, he's getting shaky, isn't he? He might not even be healthy enough to continue being the chairman of the SEC.
And so the normal oversight we have on markets will not be possible. It just simply is not, for how many days that happens. Companies that want to go public may not find that their filings could even be reviewed by the SEC and the like during pendency of a shutdown. Those are the most immediate functions, but also we won't be able to oversee the markets if there's significant events or and the like.
So basically that's why I think that he delayed the ARK shares well before its deadline, is because he's anticipating that they're going to be closed down, and he knows he's not going to have the power to be able to decline or delay it if they're actually shut down. because he's going to be a skeleton, obviously. But really, this guy doesn't ever do anything anyway, so I don't give a damn, because whether he's in his office or he's off on vacation because the government shut down, he's not doing anything anyway. And the government shutdown is probably going to take place and be all the way over before the next deadline for the BlackRock spot ETF comes around. I just don't know why Gary looks so shaky right here and what he's scared of during the government's actual shutdown. What does he see coming? Let me know if you guys have any idea down in the comments. And we're not done yet, because there's still more bad news. Over here on CNBC, there's reports that JP Morgan's Chase in the UK is going to block all crypto transactions over scam fears, saying that there's been a lot of scams happening in the crypto space and they basically just don't want their customers to be taken advantage of. Meanwhile, they're probably buying all kinds of cryptocurrency, and they're just trying to shut the doors and make sure that retail investors can't buy actual cryptocurrency and hold it in a hardware wallet or self-custody it in a blockchain. They want to make sure that after all of these ETFs and everything get approved, and after they have some kind of custody service probably that they're going to be offering in the future, there's going to be no other option but for customers to use these third parties, so that they can't actually take the cryptocurrency into their own hands and free themselves from the traditional financial system. That's why it's so important for everybody to buy as much cryptocurrency as they can right now, because eventually they're probably going to try to close all of these doors and make it to where you can only buy cryptocurrency through the big institutions that have already been ruling the world. But at least Brian Armstrong is standing up for us. According to this article on Cointelegraph, Coinbase CEO slams Chase UK for totally inappropriate crypto move. It looks like this guy might be one of our best defenders, because while Binance is a bigger exchange and probably CZ could have more power, I think he might belong to the Chinese Communist Party. So with Brian Armstrong being the CEO of the largest US exchange, I think he's basically one of our best hopes to actually pull and make a change for the better of crypto in the future. And finally, I found this article by Forbes, but it was the only news that I could find about this subject. And according to this, alarm bells are raising for crypto because a leak reveals that Joe Biden could be about to issue a game-changing executive order and trigger Bitcoin price chaos. It says Joe Biden could be about to issue an executive order on artificial intelligence that could have serious spillover into Bitcoin and crypto, and this is setting alarm bells ringing, but it doesn't really say any more specifics about what could be in the executive order and how this could really affect crypto. Plus, we've heard rumors that there was going to be these crazy executive orders that were going to devastate cryptocurrency in the past, but they always turn out to be a nothing burger when they come to pass. Also, there's nothing confirmed, and this is just a leak, and with it having mostly to do with AI, it might not really have that much of an effect on Bitcoin or crypto in the first place. But even if it does, it could actually be positive, but I doubt it, because when was the last time Biden did anything positive? Let me know in the comments, do you guys think that this government shutdown could potentially be a bullish indicator for the cryptocurrency markets? And do you think it's positive that they won't be able to do anything for a week? Or do you think that this means that they're not going to be able to actually accomplish anything and that there's not going to be any good news for crypto? So we're all going to be waiting for them to come back to work before we can get moving again in crypto. Either way, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget, I've got new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and maybe in between if there's anything to talk about, really. And if you want to chat with the community or get real-time updates, there's a link down in the description to the Only Good Discord. And if you want to support the channel, there's gear over at onlygoodcrypto.com. Don't forget to hit the like, follow, or subscribe, or whatever you got to do on whatever platform you're watching this on. And most importantly, don't forget to have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.